Good afternoon. This is Dr. Steven Adkins, Director of the Master of Public Administration program at Lincoln Memorial University. You are listening to American Culture, Arts, Humanities, and the Social Sciences. Thank you for tuning in and spending some time with us today. I hope that you're having a great day wherever you're listening, and that if it's raining where you are now, that you're staying safe and staying dry. We are broadcasting today from the beautiful campus of Lincoln Memorial University in Harrogate, Tennessee. If you are listening to us on the radio, you're probably in range of the campus and have been by to see all that we have to offer here at LMU. But if you are outside of the area, streaming this program worldwide over the internet, you may not have been to our campus. If not, you should come by and make a point to see us and see all that we have to offer here. I've had the good fortune of visiting many colleges and universities across the country, but this is still one of my most favorite and, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful campuses that I've ever been to. And we're a growing campus as well. Again, my name is Dr. Steven Adkins, and I'm the Director of the Master of Public Administration program, and you are listening to American Culture, Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. The purpose of this show is to discuss our culture, and so much of our American culture is shaped by what we learn, particularly from higher education, and especially by the programs we have in the School of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences at LMU. Today we have a very special program titled Public Administration for the People, Profiles of Students in the Field. And we're joined today by two MPA students, Brendan Kelly and Brooke White. And we are joined today, as always, in studio by Gary Daniels, our radio engineer. He has a few words for us now.
Support for this program is made possible by Lincoln Memorial University in Harrogate, Tennessee. Further information on academics, campus life, educational programs, admissions, and financial aid, and much more, online, lmunet.edu.
Thank you, Gary. Now, before we get into today's topic, I want to tell you a little bit more about Lincoln Memorial University. At LMU, we have 9 different schools at over 11 extended sites across Tennessee, Kentucky, and the Virginia region, with a total of 7 doctoral or terminal degrees and many graduate-level master's and advanced degrees as well. So our 9 schools at LMU include Allied Health Sciences with Dr. Beth Thompson as dean. We have the School of Business with Dr. James Maxwell, the Carter Moyers School of Education with Dean Dr. Sylvia Lynch, the School of Math and Sciences with Dr. Adam Rollins, the Kaler School of Nursing with Dr. Marianne Moderson. We have the DeBus College of Osteopathic Medicine with Dr. Brian Kessler as the dean. This program includes the PA program and our Doctor of Medical Sciences program. We also, based out of Knoxville, Tennessee, we have our Duncan School of Law with the Honorable Judge Gary Wade as the dean. And we have the College of Veterinary Medicine with Dr. Jason Johnson as the dean. And I'm very happy to be a part of our Paul V. Hamilton School of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. Within AHSS, the Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, we have 10 major programs. We have art, history, music, communications, philosophy and religion, social work, psychology, political science with Dr. John Grove, my good friend and teammate in this program, criminal justice, and English. So those are all of the undergraduate programs. In addition, we have 2 graduate programs. My program, the Master of Public Administration, or MPA program, and the Master of Science in Criminal Justice program. We also have many minor programs of study, and we're studying general education in our program. And we also offer many theater and musical performances, including our fall play this semester, 12 Angry Men. We also have an Honors Scholars program that I've been fortunate to interact with some of these students, and they're some of the best and brightest that are in this region and the surrounding region. So we really have a lot going on in this area, and I'm very excited to be part of the AHSS family. That's a mouthful, though. So that is my overview of all of the great things at Lincoln Memorial University. If you're listening to this program and you are a high school student trying to decide whether to attend college or not, or if you've been away from school for a while but you want to get your undergraduate degree, or if you simply want to further your career with a graduate or doctoral degree, you really ought to consider Lincoln Memorial University as a viable option here in this area, maybe close to home for you. If you want to find out more information about our university, or if you want to apply, you can visit lmunet.edu, or you can look us up and just give us a call. We have a friendly staff, some of the best staff that I've ever been involved with. I'm always happy to interact with our staff members. And they'd be happy to talk to you over the phone or meet with you in person to answer any questions that you might have about our university or college life or college expectations. There are a number of reasons that may stand in front of you and may keep you from thinking about taking that next step. But I would encourage you to reach out to us because I think we have a great university family here, and this is just a great atmosphere to be a part of. So I especially, though, in addition to high school students maybe thinking about coming to university, I'd like to challenge those of you that are listening, but for whatever reason, think that you're simply not cut out for college. I want to tell you that that's not true, that if you're willing to put in hard work, no matter what, I think that college is a great experience for you and an opportunity to grow. But maybe you've been working and you think that you've been away from school for too long. I just want to let you know that LMU, this is an environment where we want to help you succeed and we want to help you meet your goals. Because you, as an individual, you have incredible potential for great things. So we want to help you unlock that potential and be the person that you were always meant to be. So again, if you're someone that has always been hesitant about college, that you don't think it's right for you, please do look us up and give us a call here at LMU. So, as I mentioned at the top of this program, today's show is Public Administration for the People, Profiles of Students in the Field. And I want to begin this program by telling you a little bit about the Master of Public Administration program at Lincoln Memorial University. Our mission states that as an MPA program, we're preparing individuals to serve as managers in the executive arm of local, state, and federal government and in nonprofit organizations. And a lot of what we're going to talk about today is experience with our students that are here in the studio, their experience with nonprofit organizations. But the main objective of our program is to help students understand and recognize the development and principles of the field of public administration, as well as the making, management, implementation, and assessment of public policy in our society today. Now, all of that may sound like a mouthful to you over the radio, and it's a lot to take in. And if you aren't familiar with public administration, then that might not mean so much to you. So after some introductions today, I'm going to have our guests tell you a little bit about what they think public administration is, given their experience in this program, and maybe what they hope to get out of this program as well. Our program, the MPA program, is a 36-credit hour program, which means that if you're a full-time student, you can finish the program in just 4 consecutive semesters. So, for instance, if you were to start the program in the fall semester, you could be done after a fall, spring, summer, and another fall semester, should you choose to be a full-time student. In other words, you can finish the program in just under a year and a half. And so we really graduated our first full class this last spring, and we're sad to see some of our friends go from the program, but I've been really happy to see the things that they're doing after graduation. Some are still involved in the LMU community now as maybe staff members, but others have gone out to work in the field of higher education at other universities and in nonprofit organizations and in government. So we're really excited about where we're seeing our students go, and we hope we can continue this and really build networks with government and with nonprofit organizations in this and the Knoxville area. So if you want to visit us, and if you ever want to come down to a class, our classes are held in the Duncan School of Law in downtown Knoxville, and we also hold classes online as well. We're not associated with the law school, but we're very happy to share their building. That may be my favorite part of this position, is that we're right there downtown Knoxville, and we're so close to so much down there. We're just a few minutes away from Market Square, which has some of my favorite restaurants in Knoxville. And my personal favorite, this is my opportunity to give a shout out that's unsolicited. Perhaps before I come up here into the studio, I think I need to go around and say, look, this is a great opportunity. I can push your restaurant. But my personal favorite is the Oliver Royale. They have an outstanding ramen dish that if I have that for lunch during the week, that's the highlight of my week. That's not to say that my life is sad. It's just that, man, that ramen dish is fantastic. I don't know what they're putting in it, but it's so good. It does have some pork belly in it. I know that, and I didn't realize that I liked pork belly. Now I know. I love pork belly.
Maybe they'll give you some free pot stickers next time you show up.
I need free pot stickers, so that's Oliver Royale. Oliver Royale. Yes. Please contact me and give me free ramen. Thank you. So, if you are interested in joining our program, again, the Master of Public Administration program, or if you just like more information, let me urge you to visit our website again at lmunet.edu and search public administration. I'd also be very happy to answer any questions that you have by email, or if you'd like to meet. I'd be happy to meet you as well, and we can go have lunch somewhere. That's what we can do. We can go have the ramen that I've talked up so much today. I think I'm just hungry. I think I walked into the studio hungry, and now I'm going to talk about food for a while. That's great. So I want to turn now to the guest that we have. Again, we have two MPA students. We have Brendan Kelly and Brooke White. And let me begin by just, Brendan, if you could tell us just a little bit about yourself, maybe where you're from,
Sure.
what college you went to, just whatever.
Well, I grew up in Oneonta, New York, which is...
So I don't know where Oneonta, I've heard you say that before, but I honestly have no idea where that is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of famous Oneontans. Mark May. I don't know if you know Mark May from
College Game Day.
That's
okay,
right. That's right.
Well, that's a good start.
Yeah,
okay.
he played offensive line for Oneonta High School, the Yellow Jackets. We're actually about 20 minutes south of Cooperstown.
Okay.
In the middle of nowhere in New York.
I need to go up there. I'm a huge baseball fan.
It's gorgeous.
And I know you are too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Huge baseball fan.
And I've been to the Hall of Fame a few times. And it's a gorgeous area, that area, Otsego County in upstate New York. We're about an hour and a half from Albany, an hour north of Binghamton, and really far away from New York City. So
okay. So is that a good thing for you, or have you've been to the city though?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been to the city. I have family that lives in the city. It's nice. I don't go in too often anymore.
Okay.
I'm not taken by the crowds or the rush of the city. So,
right.
but yeah. So I grew up in Oneonta, and then after I graduated high school there, I did 2 years of community college in New Jersey, and then I got then I went down to Fredericksburg, Virginia, to the University of Mary Washington, and got my degree, my bachelor's in English, and then. Yeah. So
well, how did you choose English? Was that always what you were going to do, or are you one of these people that got into college and then you switched your major a few times?
I did switch my major a few times, and to be very honest, 10 years ago when I switched, 12 years ago when I switched to be an English major, I just enjoyed the reading. I was a lit major. I enjoyed reading books for homework. And I had no thought about my future after school. So
well, that's good though. You enjoyed reading, which is always a good start. And you do a lot of reading in this program, which is a good thing. It's
mm-hmm.
So okay. So Brennan, we're going to maybe cut you off here, and we're going to pick back up after the break. Again, my name is Dr. Steven Adkins, and I'm the director of the Master of Public Administration program, and you're listening to American Culture, Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m. and I told you the exact path it would take. You would of course prepare. You would talk with your loved ones and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
For the best of jazz and big band, you can turn your radio dial to 91.3 FM to hear great artists such as Duke Ellington, Sonny Stitt, Dean Martin, Billie Holiday, and many other legendary musicians. That's the Thursday Night Jazz Cafe, from 9 to midnight on your radio dial at 91.3 FM and worldwide at 913thegap.com.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Welcome back to American Culture, Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. I'm your host, Dr. Steven Adkins, and before the break, we were talking to one of our two students in the studio today, Mr. Brendan Kelly, and we found out that you're from Oneonta. Oneonta.
And I want to say something about Oneonta. People probably don't know, and this will make Alexander Hamilton very happy.
Oh, not the former president, but the former MPA student.
That's right.
Alexander Hamilton, who I love introducing in public. I miss that he's in the program just for that very purpose. But go ahead.
Oneonta used to be home to the National Soccer Hall of Fame.
Oh.
It was weird being 15 minutes south of Cooperstown with the National Baseball Hall of Fame. And growing up, this was even when I was growing up, it was before Major League Soccer.
Right.
So it was sort of a sport in the shadow of it was a Hall of Fame in the shadow of the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Very interesting. That's a fun fact for the day. Yeah. The thing that I will remember from today's conversation. So what are some of your interests and hobbies?
So I'm a runner.
Okay.
I enjoy running. In fact, coming up in the middle of October here, I'm going to run a 200-mile relay race up in Kentucky.
So is that 200 miles all at once? How does that work?
Well, there are two vans with 6 people in each van, and that constitute a team. And we're going to essentially run legs of this relay race, and so one van will run a section, one person at a time, and then the vans will switch usually we switch at one of the distilleries, and which makes for a nice break as well.
Well, fun fact, you and I have many similar interests, and you are a runner, and I am an aspiring runner.
That's true,
which means that I would like to make time in my day to run, but I don't actually make time. So it's not quite the same. It doesn't provide the similar benefits health-wise, but
sure,
we have very similar interests. Outstanding. So let me now shift gears to Brooke White, the other MPA student in our studio today. So Brooke, hello. Thank you for coming up here. This is your first time on the LMU campus.
First time on the campus, yeah. Driving up here.
But do you have ties to LMU?
I do. My aunt went here. She graduated in 1983. She was really the main reason why I looked into LMU, especially being in Knoxville, and I heard it was in Harrogate. It kind of was a long distance, but when I found out about the program being in Knoxville, I was, on board, and it was something my aunt loved. She's no longer with us anymore, but this was her school, and that's basically how I heard about LMU. It was her alma mater.
That's great. So, you didn't go to LMU for undergrad. So, where did you go undergrad?
So, I went to the University of Tennessee at Knoxville.
Okay.
I majored in sociology and concentrated in criminology and criminal justice. And I graduated back in 2015. I love my major. Sociology is just a broad field. It's something I really enjoy. It just opens a lot of doors to a lot of different opportunities. And so while I was there, I was in a sorority, Gamma Sigma Sigma, which is all about working. It's a service-oriented sorority. It's non-selective. You go, you put in hours, community service-wise, and that kind of got me into the nonprofit, field.
Interest area.
Yeah. And so we did a lot of work around Knoxville. It was, eye-opening. We worked with a lot of nonprofits getting our hours.
What kinds of tasks did you
essentially what we would do is we would just sign up for these programs, or we would sign up for these events, that would take place. We worked a lot at the Salvation Army. We worked at, which was probably my absolute favorite, was the Ronald McDonald House, because we got to cook for the residents, which is really fun. I got to teach some of the girls how to cook spaghetti.
I think I could do that. I was thinking I'm not maybe.
I was a transfer student. I transferred into UT, so I was a little bit older than the girls, and so I got to teach them how to boil noodles. And cook the sauce and the meat, and it was really fun. But that was one of my favorites. And I mean, we did a lot of community hours. Any kind of events around Knoxville. We chipped in, helped out.
So what are your non-MPA interests? What sort of things do you do for fun? What sort of hobbies do you have?
Let's see. Well, I love kayaking. Anything kayaking, canoeing, outside. If I can lounge around in my hammock, I love it. I have 2 dogs, 2 chihuahuas, 2 yappy chihuahuas. They are my whole world. They are a huge hobby of mine. If I am at home, I am with them, playing with them. They're my babies.
Excellent.
So,
okay, so Brendan, is this what you've been in the program a little while? So this is what, your 3rd semester in the program?
Yeah, this will be my 3rd semester.
Started in the spring of this 2017, so this year, and then you took summer courses, and you're starting again now in the fall, and I think you're just taking 6 hours this term, correct?
Yeah, I've been because I work full time. I've been doing each semester. I've been taking 2 classes, so 6 hours.
So where are you working right now?
So I work remotely for a nonprofit in Ocean Grove, New Jersey, called the Ocean Grove Historic Preservation Society. They preserve a Victorian building, and they run it as the Jersey Shore Art Center. So
that's interesting. Well, let's talk about that a little bit later in the program.
Sure.
So how are you enjoying the program so far?
Oh, I've been loving it. It's been great. I joined the program because I wanted to be a better nonprofit employee, a better worker, and I found in my pursuit, I've also found that I really love municipal bureaucracy as well. I love studying. I've really enjoyed studying in my neighborhood in Park Ridge, the debate over the historic zoning, the H1 overlay.
So describe your neighborhood a little bit, and what's going on there.
Sure. Yeah. So Park Ridge is an offshoot, is the eastern offshoot from the downtown area, essentially.
Downtown Knoxville.
Downtown Knoxville. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, downtown Knoxville. And it was. It was almost the suburbs of Knoxville City at the time, when they built it in the 40s, and then it went through a segregation process where it became where it went through a neighborhood change, and now it's going through a gentrification process, and with that is coming a historic people. The people who are coming in want to. And some people who are old-time residents there too want to save some of these houses as the community goes through a change, and to preserve the history of the neighborhood.
So do you feel like your experience in the MPA program here at LMU has helped you to understand that situation, and even in your work now, because you're still working for a nonprofit organization?
Sure, yeah.
How has that maybe helped you a little bit in understanding those things?
Well, it's been great in understanding the situation. Not only have I been able to focus my studies each semester on the historic preservation or the zoning aspects, but I've also been able to meet some of the administrators who are guiding it. I met Kay Graybeal, and I also met from the city of Knoxville planning.
Yep. We're going to draw a blank on her name.
We can edit that one out, right?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Post production here. So.
Anyway, but I got to meet a bunch of city administrators who have a hand in helping to lay out the policy and enact the policy. And it's been the same with my nonprofit work as well. I mean, I've been able to use a lot of what we've studied. I was saying the conflict, politics and conflict of administration, to understand board conflicts and come to resolutions with board members, and also on the historic preservation side as well. I mean, that's part of what we do up there is preserve the building. So it's been great. It's been great.
So, Brooke, what about you? So you heard about the program through, or just LMU generally, I guess, through your grandmother or your mother.
No, it was my aunt.
Your aunt. I'm going to get this right one of these days. So you heard about the university through your aunt. How did you hear about our program specifically, and what drew you to joining us?
Well, so I knew about the school, and I was really looking for, something that was kind of local because I am from Knoxville. I work in Knoxville full time. I live in Knoxville, and so I wanted something that was, convenient, that was kind of around the alley. Right up my alley, and so I looked into the program. And I've always wanted to do higher education, something in the college atmosphere, that sort of thing. And public administration was something that was, I saw it as this would be a really good opportunity. It would be good for opening doors to that path that I want to take.
Well, absolutely, and we've had several people just in the LMU community in higher education. Dr. Joda Goins is a student in our program right now. We had Donnie Lipscomb and Martha Scheidler, who has moved on to other opportunities, but they were part of this LMU community. So you're interested in higher education as well, but you're working right now, right? You're working not in any type of nonprofit.
No, it is definitely not.
You are very private sector right now.
It is very private sector.
So where are you working right now?
I work at 21st Mortgage, downtown Knoxville. It is a mortgage company. I do work in customer service, so I take a lot of phone calls every day, talking to people. It's definitely not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And when I graduated from school and I started working full time, I did it for about 2 years, and it opened your eyes to that this is not what I want to do. So that's why I was really motivated to go back to school.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that's one of the reasons why people come to graduate school, and why LMU is so attractive to so many people, whether it be the MPA program or MSCJ program or maybe one of our business graduate programs, is that they find themselves in positions and maybe in the private sector that it's just not what they wanted to do. Maybe they had an idea that, yes, this is what I want to do, but then they get into it and they find out, well, it's time for a career change, or maybe they want advancement in some way, and they want to move up the career ladder. And graduate school really helps you do that. It hopefully provides you with a set of skills and values that you can take into the workforce, and that's really what we try to provide here in the MPA program is better understanding for how government works, how these nonprofit organizations work, and how we deal with the private sector as well. It's not left out. It's not necessarily exclusive that our business programs deal with the private sector and we deal with the public and nonprofit. But how do those things interact? That's what we attempt to do, and we try to instill our students with values that will make them better people, because our students really want to help people. That seems to me to be a driving force behind what we're doing here at LMU with the MPA program. So again, today's program, Public Administration for the People, profiles of students in the field. Our show is American Culture, Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, and I'm your host, Dr. Steven Adkins.
WLMU's broadcast and webcast is made possible by support from Lincoln Memorial University, which encourages you, our listeners, to join with them in supporting our unique programming here in the Cumberland Gap area. Further information about Lincoln Memorial University, www.lmunet.edu.
On Wednesday evenings, you can tune your radio to WLMU and hear the best blues in the tri-state area with your host, Gary Daniels. He'll be playing the best blues artists of today and the best blues artists of yesteryear. Everything from Robert Johnson, Buddy Guy, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Muddy Waters, and many more. It's Wednesday Evening Blues from 9 to 11, right here on 91.3 WLMU.
The Lighthouse Career Training Center thrift store is open to the tri-state community. Items available for purchase include adult and children's clothing and shoes, household furnishings, appliances, baby items, toys, books, and glassware. Open Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located in the Old Bell County Vocational Building between U.S. Highway 119 and Old Bell High Road. Their phone number is 606-337-3165. All proceeds go to the Lighthouse Career Training Center, a nonprofit organization assisting at-risk youth and adults with skills to help them succeed in their life plans.
Welcome back to American Culture, Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. I am your host for today, Dr. Steven Adkins. And we've been talking in the studio with Brendan Kelly and Brooke White, two students in the MPA program, which again, based out of Knoxville, Tennessee. We've been talking about some of their interests, talking about their background, and now I'm going to put you on the spot. We've got a lot of great classes to offer in the MPA program. We've got our basic intro to public administration. We've got public policy process. We've got basic service and ethics for public administration. What other classes have you taken, Brendan?
Let's see, ethics, policy process.
Yeah. Did I name off all of the classes you've taken?
I've taken 6. This will be 8 classes this semester.
Okay.
The quantitative and qualitative.
Oh yeah, we've got methods courses.
Methods, yep.
And some people are hesitant about the methods courses. They look at those and maybe are a little intimidated. Mm-hmm. But sure. I hope that you're finding, and we've not had feedback on the qualitative course for this semester, but I hope that you're finding that it's really not anything that you can't do. It's very basic. This is not an advanced math PhD that we're talking about here in the program. We're doing basic and applied methods for people that want to go into the field and to improve their organizations. So hopefully you're enjoying those methods courses.
Sure.
We've got a lot of nonprofit courses. So right now we've got Dr. Melissa Houston is teaching a course on nonprofit marketing. So if maybe you've got a passion for running a nonprofit organization, but you don't know how to get your message out, and how do you push that to the public? Well, the nonprofit marketing course would help you. We're also teaching a grant writing course, and are either of you taking?
I am in the grant writing.
Okay, so we've got Dr. Christopher Schultz, who was a former classmate of mine, actually at the University of Tennessee, in the PhD and MPA programs. So how are you liking Dr. Schultz?
I really like the class. Yeah, I like him a lot. He's very cool.
So tell us about that course.
So essentially, it's learning the basics of how to write a grant.
Well, okay. Now we've got to back up. We've got to define some terms. So what is a grant in your mind?
For me, a grant is you're asking for money, either from the government or from someone. You're basically trying to obtain something.
So why would you? And Brennan, you can jump in too. Sure. So why would you attempt to get a grant? What's the purpose of it? So I mean, besides the fact that we like money, I mean, but why do you want a grant?
Well, I mean, to start. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why you could want a grant. I mean, to start, an organization, to do a project. There's funding. Funding is really important to get.
Well, it's not just about having cold hard cash for your nonprofit. Resources as well. The nonprofit for that I work for. We do a lot of building grants. So for historic preservation work, we just put in we got $7,500 this past summer to put in 4 new doors and expensive doors, but they had to be handmade to fit the building. And we also got money for we got a block grant for a parking lot. We received money for our security system, which will be coming in October. So yeah, don't try to loot the place right now if you can't help it.
Well, so don't give out the address.
That's right. So but resources and then programs as well. You want to fund. You want to. You have to be able to hire people to run the programs. So employees and certain office resources and so on.
And Brooke, so you like Dr. Schultz, and I've heard that he's going to bring in some guest speakers. Has that started yet?
It has not started.
Okay,
yet.
well I'm excited for that. I might actually sit in on some of those guest speakers. I might hide in the back. I don't want to stick out like a sore thumb, so I might have to wear a mask or something. But yeah, I'm excited to hear some of those speakers for the grant writing course.
Yeah.
But so now I am going to put you on the spot. So both of you are in my basic public administration course, and we talked about very early, I think in the first class, we talked about these many different definitions of what is public administration. And it's interesting. This is a very interesting field because on one hand, it's a very applied field. So we're hoping to send people out into the workforce to be better leaders in their organizations. But on the other hand, it's also very much an academic field. So that's really my background, is that there are people that are doing research in public administration, they're writing papers, and they're teaching, obviously. But there's so many ways of thinking about public administration, and one textbook, because that's one of the greatest resources of being a professor, is that you simply write a textbook publisher, and they'll send you whatever textbook you want. And so I've got all of these textbooks for public administration just going up to the ceiling. And I found one that had 17 different definitions for what we mean by public administration. And there were political definitions, managerial definitions, occupational definitions, legal definitions for what is meant by public administration. So this is where I'm going to put you on the spot. So which of you wants to go first? This is.
I think Brooke does.
You have a.
I'll totally go.
Because I'm giving you an impromptu oral exam here in the studio. So what is public administration?
Well, to me, in the most basic form, I know it's going to sound funny, but it is basically administering to the public. It's, leadership roles. It is, organizers. It's, to me, it's just, it's people that, who manage, it's kind of hard to put it into an eloquent, statement, but I think of it as leadership, people in higher positions, making decisions, that sort of thing. So that's kind of my definition.
Okay, well you pass, and I see this is tricky because now Brennan gets to piggyback off that. Okay. So I think we got to set the bar higher for Brennan now. Oh no. So Brennan, what is public administration in your mind?
Well, in my mind, I would say the managing of people, but it's also the delivering of programs or goods or resources to the public. A lot of it has to do with providing, whether you're working at the post office or working for city or state government or working for a nonprofit, providing for those people who rely on your program. And I think administrators are people who are professionals who know how to do that with their staff and the resources that are given to them.
Okay. Well, so Brennan, earlier in the program, you told us about a nonprofit organization that you're involved with in New Jersey.
Sure.
So can you tell us a little bit about that? And I know there's been some things going on in your personal life and organizationally over the course of the last year. So can you tell us about some of those things?
Sure. So for the past 7 years now, I've worked for the Ocean Grove Historic Preservation Society, which runs the Jersey Shore Arts Center. And I've been very fortunate because I've got to work with my grandfather, who was the president of the organization, and when I came on 7 years ago, he did a lot of the preservation side. A lot of he loved picking up a power tool and going to work, but there was a lot that needed to be done on the nonprofit side. So I got to help develop the programs that we offered through the organization, and then. 2.5 years ago, my wife finished up her PhD in applied physics, and we moved to Knoxville. And I was very fortunate to be able to do my job remotely. I work from home now, going up to New Jersey for 1 week a month. This past June, though, my grandfather passed away, and I mean, it was tough on the family. We're a small nonprofit also, so it was tough on the nonprofit. But we were also set up as for his benefit as a founders nonprofit, which essentially means that the president gets final say in almost all of the decisions that in regards to the organization. So since he passed, there's my grandfather had broad shoulders in that respect, and he was always working, dedicated to the organization. So we've had to make a few changes since he passed to make the organization more of a traditional board and less of a founders board. So this summer I've spent a lot of time with board members and office staff to make that switch.
Mm-hmm. So how what kind of duties have you had to carry out in this shift from your previous role to now you've got increased responsibility now?
Sure. Yeah.
So what all has gone into that?
Well, I've become more of an advisor to the board members, and I've also, especially the two new presidents that we have co-presidents now, helping them as they make decisions about the organization, trying to find organizations that are similar to ours that have success and adopt those best practices. Also, the reorganizing of the office staff as the director there, trying to get now that some of the responsibilities that my grandfather had. I mean, I did a lot of work for the organization, but he was 3 men in one, I'll tell you, and so. Trying to spread out the responsibilities, not just to the office staff, but also trying to make the board a more active board as well, and volunteer, devoting more time into volunteering to the organization. So,
okay, so now you've been involved in nonprofits for a while now. What advice would you have for students or maybe people out in the public that want to become more involved with nonprofits in the area?
I would say find a cause that you enjoy, that you really love, because volunteering for nonprofits, it means getting your hands dirty. It really does. Going out there, if you like building, or if you like working with the homeless, you can go into Habitat or NeighborWorks. I don't know if there's NeighborWorks Tennessee, I believe. Really just. When you volunteer, it's not a glorious job, but it's definitely fulfilling. And so when you find something that you love, the time really passes when you're doing that volunteer work. So.
Oh, that's fantastic, Brendan. Sorry, I'm going to call you Brandon now.
It's all right.
Brendan, just so thrilled to have you in the program, because one of the great things about graduate school, whether it be the MPA program or the MSCJ or any of our graduate programs, is that you have an opportunity to interact with people that have had life experience. And so you've had quite a bit of experience in the nonprofit organizations, and it's really experience that I'm learning from you in the classroom, even as the instructor, and I'm very excited about that. And I would encourage you, if you're listening to our program, if these things sound attractive to you, if you'd like to become involved in organizations like these, and maybe even take on leadership roles that you would consider the MPA program at Lincoln Memorial University. Again, I'm your host, Dr. Steven Adkins. I'm the director of the MPA program, and this has been American Culture, Arts, Humanities, and the Social Sciences.
Hey everybody, Rachel Ray here. Nothing brings a bigger smile to my face than cooking up a big meal for the whole family and lots of friends. But there's not enough room at my table for the 17 million kids in our country who struggle with hunger. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks collects surplus food to give hope to hungry kids. But they can't do it without your help. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to American Culture, Arts, Humanities, and the Social Sciences. I'm your host for today, Dr. Steven Adkins. We decided to come back from break to continue this conversation with our MPA students in the studio, Brendan Kelly, not Brandon, Brendan, and Brooke White. And we've been talking about the MPA program and what we attempt to do through the MPA program, and we've been talking with Brendan specifically about some experience that he's had running a nonprofit organization in New Jersey, and you've been going back and forth from Knoxville to New Jersey, right?
Yeah, especially this summer, starting at the beginning of June, I've been every other week I've spent in New Jersey. So it's been it's a 12-hour drive from Knoxville. Well, when I drive, it's 12 hours from Knoxville to the Jersey Shore, and I know pretty much all the rest stops on I-81.
So, well, and these, I would assume, I've never been to that part of New Jersey, but I would assume they're very different types of areas between Knoxville, Harrogate, and where you are in New Jersey. And so what kinds of differences do you see culturally or in terms of just what's available to people up there?
Yeah, well, it's much more densely populated up there, obviously.
Sure.
And I think that governments have kind of, and policies are kind of adapt. They adapt to that population density. There's things are a little more restrictive up there, I would say, in terms of what you can and can't do. And there's always a little bit more oversight up there, I would say as well. You wouldn't believe it when you read the news about New Jersey government, but there's always a little bit more oversight. So, but it's been interesting comparing the two for sure. Like I said, I've been really interested in what's going on in my neighborhood in Knoxville in terms of zoning, and I always have to keep up to date with what's going on in Neptune, New Jersey as well, Ocean Grove, New Jersey, in terms of their policy, and it's been very interesting to kind of compare the two.
So I have a question for both of you now, and this is. It's a question that it's been staying in my mind for a while, and it bothers me and it excites me every day. It's a little bit of everything. But when I first interviewed for this job as the director of the MPA program, I met with Dr. Sellers, who hopefully all of you have had an opportunity to meet. He is the Dean of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, and just a really interesting fellow, a great person to work for, I'll tell you. But when we interviewed, he likes to throw you a curveball, and if he were in studio today, if he were the host, so one time on the air, he asked me why European students may not be as interested in graduate programs as they maybe used to be, to which I did not know that there was actually any variance in the degree to which European students were interested in graduate school in the United States. So that was, I maybe didn't have a great answer for that one. But the question that he asked me, the curveball question that he asked me in our interview was, how do you keep the best and brightest in some of these rural areas? So in Harrogate, in Tazewell, New Tazewell, this is a bit more rural than what you experience in Knoxville, and certainly when you go up to New Jersey, it's a very different area there. So if you are a young person in this area, how do you keep those young people from leaving to going to Atlanta, Charlotte, Nashville, Lexington, even Knoxville? How do you keep them in this community, and how do you help these areas grow? And I'll go ahead and tell you, there's not an easy answer for this, because if there were an easy answer, we wouldn't be asking this question. It's tough, and I really struggle with it all the time. But do you have any thoughts about that?
Practicing for my future political career, I see.
Absolutely.
So, Brooke, what's your... No.
How do you respond, Brooke?
Well, honestly, I think it's about resources, and it just really depends on the person. Honestly, it depends on your way of life. If you like that fast, city life, a lot of things going on, a lot of happenings, that's one thing. If you like the slow kind of, if you want to take a step back, some quiet time, for me, especially, I love the city just because it's home for me, but I love being where it's quiet. There's not a lot of traffic. I would like to stay local. So, it really depends on the person, I think. So.
Okay. I think you're right. I think it certainly comes down to the individual.
Yeah.
But if you are one of those people, if you are somebody that enjoys having more things to do, maybe more restaurants to eat out at perhaps,
sure.
How do you go about bringing that business to your place without maybe losing the character that you have in this community? Because I'll tell you, I had not been in this direction. We're not very far from Knoxville, but I was raised in Knoxville, and I enjoy that size of city. I don't know that I could live in Atlanta or Nashville. For me, Knoxville's just about right, because we experience a little bit of both. We have city life, but we also have, if you go out a little bit, you have a little bit of rural that you can enjoy the quiet.
Sure.
But if you wanted to bring some of those maybe opportunities that we don't have, we can't take advantage of here in this area, how would you go about doing that?
Some of the opportunities from the city to the rural. Well, before I did everything I told you about, after I graduated college, I was in AmeriCorps Vista for 2 years in Montana. I lived in Great Falls, Montana, and Helena, Montana. And
you've been all over.
I've been all over. I don't like to visit places. I like to live there. So, but Montana's they just broke 1 million people. For the fourth largest state, they just broke 1 million people about 5 years ago. And that was one of the problems that they had when I worked for the bar out there. When I worked in Helena, I worked for the State Bar Association. And one of the problems they had was getting young attorneys to move out to eastern Montana, near the North Dakota border, because a lot of these young attorneys out of law school, they were single, and they wanted to mix with people of their own age, and going out to rural county and closer to North Dakota than you are to Great Falls, Montana, or Missoula, Montana, is not very appealing. And some of the things they had to do was show that you can build a family, and you can build a life. If you're not, you may not be used to it, but you can build that life, and you can build an enjoyable life in these rural counties. And it took, I think it takes some of the older folks in the community to really maybe guide some of the younger professionals, and then also an effort from schools to show that there's a chance out there's a need for attorneys, there's a need for public administrators in these rural counties, and don't be afraid of it. It's great.
Well, and my mother always tells me, you were this close to growing up in Mississippi, because my father is a dentist, and they had a very similar appeal to this certain area in Mississippi, that there were basically no dentists in this area.
Sure.
And so they were trying to pull him to Mississippi, but he was very much about staying home, and he wanted to be around his family. But it's a very interesting challenge that we have in Harrogate and Tazewell, New Tazewell, is keeping some of our best and brightest here, not letting them get out, and maybe growing this area into a better place. We love how it is right now. It's so beautiful here, and there's the people here are great. I've always been impressed with the people here, but it is again a very unique challenge for us, and I think that one of the ways that we build up an area is through our greatest institution here, which is Lincoln Memorial University. We have so many opportunities here at LMU, and if you're in the listening area, please consider, even if you don't want to be a student, we have so many great things that we're offering with our plays, with the different things that we do here. There's just so many opportunities, and I'm always afraid that those opportunities go untapped by the local community. That we're, I guess, maybe inward looking. That maybe the people that are a part of LMU tap into these things and they use the resources that we have. But if you're somebody that's never come on our campus or for some reason feel intimidated, I've got to tell you, you don't need to feel intimidated. That just from top to bottom, the staff, the faculty, they're a part of your community too. They care about this place. There are many people that are part of the LMU community that live within, maybe a 20-yard or 20-mile radius of this university, and they want to give back. They want this to be a great place, but they want to meet you, and they want you to be a part of this community too, because Harrogate is LMU, and Tazewell is LMU. New Tazewell is LMU. We'd like you to be a part of this community, and again, we do have so many different opportunities here, whether it be a graduate school if you've already got your college degree, or if you've never taken that next step. You may look at this as, well, I'm going to have to read, I'm going to have to do homework, and yeah, that probably is part of the process. But I think the benefits that you're going to get out of that are really going to outweigh any kind of burden you see that going back to school puts upon you. I'm really happy to be a part of this community and to be a part of the LMU family here. We're going to sign off soon, but
sure.
Do both of you have anything that you'd like to say about LMU or your experience here?
Well, yeah, a couple of things. First of all, I am looking forward. I didn't realize 12 Angry Men they were putting on 12 Angry Men here. I'm probably going to have to bring the wife up for that to see the show. Plus, I also want to, there's a hiking trail not too far from the radio station here, right?
Oh, yeah.
One of these days.
Well, a few hiking trails. I've done a couple of them now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So one of these days, I'm going to have somebody watch my dog while I do the show so I can go up and do some trails afterwards. Yeah. But, yeah, I've really enjoyed Lincoln Memorial University, and the program especially has been wonderful. Not just to have me grow professionally, but they've been very helpful through stressful times. I mean, they've been very understanding with the summer, and it's been a blessing. So
well, and I do think that's something very unique to LMU that. I went to the University of Tennessee, and there are things that I've experienced here that we can provide our students that had I been at a bigger university, I'm not sure that people would have cared as much.
Sure.
So I like the smaller community that we offer. Brooke, did you have a parting thought?
Absolutely. I agree with that. Being from UT, it's very big. It's a very big community. I loved it. And being at LMU, everyone is just so friendly. Staff, faculty have just been really helpful. Although I'm a newbie to the program and to the school, it's been a great semester thus far. It's a lot of reading, for sure. It's a juggling act with work and school and life. But it's been a really good experience, and I'm excited to see where it takes me from here.
Well, Brooke, Brendan, I'm so glad that you could be part of this show today. And if you're listening on the radio or over the internet, I'm glad to have you as a listener today. Again, this has been American Culture, Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, and I've been your host, Dr. Steven Adkins, Director of the Master of Public Administration program here at Lincoln Memorial University.
Support for this program is made possible by Lincoln Memorial University in Harrogate, Tennessee. Further information on academics, campus life, educational programs, admissions, and financial aid, and much, much more online, lmunet.edu. This afternoon's program was produced by Dr. Martin Sellers and Dr. Atkins. Our technical producer is Gary Daniels, our program director is Clay Stanifer, and our executive producer is Adam Haley. Our theme music is White Horses, as performed by Tierra Negra and Muriel Anderson. American Culture, Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences at LMU will rebroadcast again this Saturday at 10 a.m., Sunday at 8 p.m., and next Tuesday at 7 a.m. This has been a WLMU radio production. Cumberland Gap Radio broadcasts not only in Claiborne County, but Lee County, Virginia, Bell County, Kentucky, and the surrounding counties, and across the nation and around the world. We thank you for tuning in.